Morning, good afternoon, and good evening to all. Myself, Vaibhav. I welcome all of you to today's session of Visual JForex, in which we will be continuing our work using the indicator HT trend line, which stands for Hilbert Transform Trend Line. This indicator was developed by John Ehlers, and we will see how we can design and develop a profitable trading system using this indicator. So let us now head to the Visual JForex board, which has been developed by the Dukascopy Bank SA. In the prior session, this system was designed to get the instrument subscription done. This time around, USD is the instrument of choice. After that, the position amount was defined at 0. I have added these HT trend line blocks. First 2 hours of hourly candle period and latter 3 are of 5 minutes each with the varying look back periods 0, 6 and 12 respectively. We are also going to define the price band within which the trade execution should happen. So for that we have defined this new variable with the value of 10 pips. To look at the condition for the execution of the trade, we are also taking the help of price action. For that we will be using this get historical candle period is 5 minutes each, and to pinpoint the exact entry these 10-second blocks will be used. Now let me give you a brief refresher of what the logic is going to be whenever we want to execute a buy trade. For any buy trade to happen, we want the momentum to be on the bullish side. For that we will do a simple thing. We will take the current value of the HT trend line, whatever is its current value, and we will compare it to the value 6 hours back. If it is higher, well and good, that means we can go for a buy trade. If it is lower, as the case here, then no buy trade will be executed. Somewhere like this, when we have this bullish momentum prevalent, we can continue to look for the buying opportunities, and to make sure that the trade happens only after due correction and consolidation, we have added this condition that the trade should be initiated closer to this trend line. For that we are going to define a price band of 10 pips. Whatever is the trend line price, we will add 10 pips to it, and within which the price should execute. The price of execution should be higher than the HT trend line and lower than the HT trend line plus 10 pips. That will be the execution band, and provided the hourly conditions are in place, the trade execution will happen whenever the turnaround happens on the lower time frame. For that we will want to make sure that this is the first time around when the turnaround in price action is happening. So for that we will take the current 5 minutes HT trend line value, we will compare it to the value half an hour back, and as you might have guessed, it should be rising. The current trend line value should be higher than the value half an hour back, which we will be retrieving using the look back period of 5 minutes with the shift value of 6. And the value half an hour back should have been greater than the value 1 hour earlier. So that will make sure that this kind of curve is forming. The HT trend line is starting to rise again after having declined. So that will mean the correction has taken place, and now this might be the time to get involved. And not only that, we also want to make sure that immediately prior to the execution, the correction should have happened in the price action also. So we will need the last 5 minute candle HT trend line, 5 minute candle to have closed higher than the HT trend line, whereas the penultimate candle should have closed lower, and that is going to be the condition for the execution of the trade. So I hope you have gotten the point, and now we can get to the designing business. We will see how we can put these conditions in action. For that we have to get one calculation done to define the price band for the entry. So that will be the first task for the day. We will need the HT trend line output for the current hour. which is ht trend line 12. Okay, we add it to rpm pm. This variable has value of 10. You can check it here. Yes, which is getting multiplied with the default instrument pip size. So this is going to be a1 plus a2. This will be upper limit for execution. Okay, so first thing done. Now we have to start defining the conditions for the execution, and that we will do using the if blocks. Current hours ht trend line output should be greater than the ht trend line output 6 hours back. So we need first input greater than second input, and the price of execution. So for that we have utilized the price band, and whenever the execution will happen we will need last tick price to be within that price band. So for that we are going to use these conditions, that the last tick bit should be greater than current hours ht trend line value, whereas last tick hours should be lower compared to the upper limit for execution. Okay, so first input less than second input, and after that the first input greater than second input. Now we will turn our attention to the conditions which need to be fulfilled on the lower time frame of 5 minutes. Here on the 5 minutes, the current 5 minutes ht trend line output needs to be greater than the ht trend line output 30 minutes back, which we are getting using this 5 minutes ht trend line block with the shift value of 6. So first input greater than second input, and after this we also have to ensure that prior to this this recent rise, earlier there was decline, so the output value half an hour back should be lower than the trend line output 1 hour earlier. So in this case, first input will be less than second input. Okay, then we turn our attention to the closing values of last two 5 minutes candles, and one should have closed higher, and the penultimate candle should have closed lower. So for that we are going to need two more if blocks. Okay, and the output value, second output, second input, not output, is going to be common. This is current straight trend line value. This is going to be a defining parameter. Now we have to take closing values of candle 21 and candle 22. Candle 21 candle close need to have been greater, first input greater than second input, and candle 22nd candle close need to have been less. So first input less than second input, and after that all we will need is to add the condition that whenever the price starts to rise above the last 5-minute candle close, the order will be placed. So in this case it is going to be first input less than second input. Okay, this candle has a look back period of 2, that means this is the penultimate candle close. And then we take candle 21 candle close, and compare it to the closing values of candle 23rd and candle 24th, which also have the look back period of 1 and 2 respectively. The candle period is 10 seconds, and here we will need candle 23rd to have closed higher, whereas candle 24th should have closed lower. First input greater than second input, and after this comes in the open at market block. Candle 24 candle close, first input less than second input. Okay, so with this we have defined the conditions for the execution of the buy trade. We will need to bring in the multiple action first, join it to this calculation block, and after that these all the conditions will make sure that trade happens as per our requirement. We also have to define the input parameters for the trade command block. Logical component. When we will be defining the sell side, all we will need to do is start adding the blocks after this second flow in sequence. Coming to the defining of parameters for the trade command block, there is going to be a buy trade, so no changes. Default instrument USD JPY, trade amount I will change to 0.1 million. Stop loss, slippage 2 pips is good enough. Stop loss, since we are dealing with the lower time frame, I think a stop loss target ratio of 10 to 20 should be good enough, bringing us a risk reward ratio of 1:2. So here we will have this, and Now it's the turn to keep it where it belongs. That is after these conditions defined using the if blocks. So that's it for today's session. I hope you have been able to understand the logical as well as the execution part of this algorithm. And the trade flow you can see it is going till the very end. If any of you have any query or any idea to share, you can write to me in the feedback section and I would be more than happy to take the discussion forward. For further coverage of the market developments, you can check out the Dukascopy Analytics page for which the link have been provided. We are also available on the Facebook. You can follow the Facebook page of the Dukascopy. Whenever you want to start trading, you can take the services of the JForex platform, and even after you complete this setup, whenever you want to have the testing done on the historical data, you can simply export this file to the JForex platform, and there you can carry out the testing, extensive testing on the data for many years. So that is going to add a lot of value to your trading. Thank you all for joining in. Have a fabulous time ahead. See you next time. Till then, goodbye.